all the way down.
You're welcome again to Vanguard Live. My name is Victor Oguyinka. Yes, it is how we do it every morning, starting with today in the news. Interestingly, we are back with some screaming headlines, telling all the stories for itself, and somewhere we've been coming from and where we are. But interestingly, this is not we are trying to build a nation for ourselves, and hopefully we are going to be part of those decision makers as people, as the media house, and of course as Nigerians too. And I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have with me an author. Yeah, he's all smile now. Looks like Nigeria is good on him. Mr. Niyi Adekunle, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
Good to be here, first time.
Yeah, Mr. Niyi is an author. He's the author of a book Nigerians called Obey. I think that's a discussion for another time, because I don't know who writes a book about Nigerians called Obey. The national anthem says it all.
Well, probably.
Okay, so we'll save that for another time. But very quickly, we have all the 5 national dailies here to review. We talk about the headlines. We, analyze where they are coming from and what difference it makes. And we start, of course, with the Vanguard. Our fears for future polls in Nigeria, US bodies. Okay, it is beginning to be, I don't know, calling for concern. Just 24 hours ago, it was the EU.
Yeah.
Today, it is US bodies. Our fears for future polls in Nigeria.
Well, you can't blame anybody for saying that. Before the US or the EU said it, we ourselves have said it, that we have concerns for our polls. Maybe the first you want to notice that it's not the US government that said it. It's not the president of the US that said it. It says US bodies. It could be any group. It could be a registered group. It could be a registered group. It could be.
But they're from the US.
It doesn't matter. They don't have the final say on anything. But it's important to note what they've said. So that's the first thing. It's interesting that the US body is saying that. Because whether we like it or not, our polls and the process can be improved on. And so if somebody is also telling us from outside, maybe we need to look at the whole process again.
Do we need people to tell us from outside? Yesterday it was the European Union, and then the spokesman for the Presidential Committee of the All Progressive Congress, Festus Keyamo, said that on his Twitter page, he said that it was not the European Union, it was just a group, maybe just like US bodies. Yes, So first, do we need people from outside Nigeria to warn us about future polls in Nigeria?
Well, the truth is this: whether it's the EU, whether it's the US, whether it's Ghana, whether they are individual groups or not, whether they're even registered or not, makes no difference. Again, Nigerian election, the polls in Nigeria is not one you can throw aside, because it's the largest country in Africa. So whatever happens here is important to the whole world. Do we need them to tell us yes and no? Yes, in the sense that we can see that we are not alone. The whole world is watching and they can make comments. And no, in the sense that whether they said it or not, if we're going to be true to ourselves, we saw that there were issues. It wasn't a perfect election. A number of things. Some cases are even still in court. We can see even the aftermath of all those things. So, in that sense, we had seen some things. Some of us have experienced it. We were there, and so it's just maybe a confirmation of some of the things we need to look at.
Okay,
better.
I was going to ask you to just give a situation report of how it went down in your own polling unit, but then I will just spare you on that now,
Okay,
so that we are not going to have the Nigerian version of. Okay, our fears for future polls in Nigeria, US bodies, you can find out on page 9 with a lot of interesting writers there. Presidency insists Buhari won 2019 polls, faults NDI IRI reports. Talking about the Keyamo reaction and all of those things. Then defense suspension of ex-CJN Onogen. Ex-CJN, if there is a corruption case, I think it should be treated as such. But then we talk about timeliness in everything.
Exactly.
What is your own take on how?
Exactly. That's why I said we need to look at the whole process. For your Chief Justice to be kicked out of his office or moved out or whatever it is around the election season says a lot. It just makes people have concerns, because it's supposed to be the ultimate umpire if there's a case. And there were a lot of intrigues around this thing. And to talk about the fact that at the root of this whole thing was the fact that he did not declare assets or this and that, and he did this thing, this case was there right from the beginning when it was so. Why didn't you address this right then? Why did you wait until not just at the beginning of the election season, almost in the heat of it? So these are why we say that we've given a lot of suspicion for people to think that was it that Onagun was a threat to the incumbents or whatever, So, and that's the timing thing around it,
Yeah, and it's of course really affected whatever everybody said about it now. And again, another writer, he said, "We are not children; we can take care of ourselves." APC. I'm talking about why we need a foreign body to tell us about this. And APC is reacting. No, let's do our thing ourselves.
It's interesting that we say things when it's convenient for us.
Yes.
If we should know that, so while we're part of the ECOWAS, while we're part of the AU, we are beyond ourselves. What happens to us affects a number of people, and so they can't see at this point that we are not children.
Okay, talking about the reacting to what is comfortable or convenient for you, the PDP said NDI reports show presidential election was rigged by the PDP. So everybody taking a side on whichever one falls.
If you're going to say that, even America, they said the Trump election was rigged. So we hear I don't think there's any election we've had in this country that since I've had common sense that somebody has said it's not rigged. But you have the courts to judge that.
Okay, so while everybody keep putting on the court, the case is in court, we continue to monitor how it goes. But you can get all that news on page 9 of the Vanguard, our fears of future polls in Nigeria, US bodies. And then you can see the pictures of APC governors in Atura with the president, interesting pictures here with the caption, President Muhammadu Buhari at the middle, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa Third Right, Chief of Staff Alhaji Abba Kyari. On them, APC governors after meeting at the presidential villa strategy.
Yeah, it's good. We are still early in the game, and it's an APC government, so they have a lot to play from the federal down to the state level. Maybe they should get the local government guys to go, maybe see their governor or whatever.
Okay, so talking about election and politics, we go to Edo Assembly. The drama as Clark swears in 9 of 24 lawmakers at midnight. It's been a while we heard things like this in the news, but it looks like dark days are not over yet.
You see, that's the problem when, and that's why we need to look at the whole process. Why in the world is that the work is that urgent? They have to be sworn in the middle of the night. Obviously, there's something going on. There's some intrigues going on.
Like someone would say that we pay you to work overnight, to work around the clock.
It's a normal government intrigue, So.
But then now this is the first. This is supposed to be. We saw what happened at the National Assembly during the election.
Yeah.
We have out of the 109 that was supposed to be present, 107 were present, and the 2 absent was because they had a case that had not been confirmed, so they were rightly absent from that meeting.
Yeah.
Then at the House of Assembly, it was a full house, jam-packed. This was supposed to be that meeting you must attend. So what is going on in the Edo Assembly?
Now, if we are not going to deceive ourselves, we know there's an election going on in Edo States, maybe later in the year.
Yes.
And there's obviously some strain between the incumbent governor and the immediate past governor. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I don't want to see this disconnected from that. Knowing the way politics is and elections are in Nigeria. So I must think that there's something between these 9 that were sworn in, and the others that were not.
But we are not going to connect that dot ourselves. We are just going to leave the movie to play out.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sure it is a developing story. You can get it on page 50 of the Vanguard, and I'm sure more of this will come up before. I'm sure even before the end of the day. So you can also monitor and track this news on our website www.vanguardngr.com for all the news as it breaks, so that you just don't stay missing. Okay, away from Edo Assembly, we go straight to. I talk about Apapa on this show every blessed morning. Yes, it has become a personal project for Vanguard. It has become a personal project for me because it turns out that it is almost it is beyond an eyesore right now. It beats imagination of how a normal human being should be treated. If you ply, yes, and I'm saying this with all passion and without any reservation, if you ply that road on a daily basis, you are likely to have psychological issues over time.
Yeah.
Yes, because you can't continue looking back and forth and then let's just go to the headline, just so you understand where we are coming from. Lot of news, and very interestingly, we had an exclusive on Vanguard yesterday about that road, saying that there was no sincerity for any lasting solution on that road. Then we start seeing reactions from there. First, the governor of Lagos State says, I didn't promise the congestion of Oshodi-Apapa Expressway in 60 days, says Sanwo-Olu. I was surprised because I thought I heard something, but it turns out that it probably was misquoted.
I thought I heard that too at some point. Maybe before it was even inaugurated, I think he said something close to that. So I thought I heard something about.
And then he went there to inspect the place with his team. That was the first thing he did when he got to work.
Himself and the deputy governor elect back then. I saw the videos.
Okay, we are not going to preempt this news. We would like you to just get a copy of the Vanguard, read the news for yourself, and hear what the governor is saying. I didn't compromise. I didn't promise the congestion of Oshodi-Apapa Expressway in 60 days. Say someone would do. I wish it did. Really.
When I heard it, I had my Apapa is very special to me because I grew up in Apapa. So driving down there a couple of years ago and seeing the mess on that road was very painful. And I also heard that maybe the president has given an order.
The presidential order was given sometimes last month.
Yeah.
And they gave them a 72 hours notice to evacuate that place, but 72 hours have turned to 3 weeks as we speak, and nothing is changing. Then much more, importantly, is the fact that that bridge on that place generates the second highest revenue.
A major gateway into the nation.
Generates the second largest, revenue for the country.
Yeah.
That means after petroleum, the next thing is the ports, and it is all messed up.
I don't want to talk about Nigeria because it's just part of the lack of vision. Because if that place is a major hub, it's a gateway, and there are a lot of power plays there. There are factories there. Apart from the ports, there's a lot of things going on there, and there are a lot of big names playing in that area. So it's just interesting why it will be allowed to drag for this long. Apart from the fact that it's the man hours wasted on that road, the lives I've known people personally that have died on that road because of that. So I don't know. I don't want to believe that it's politics, but I think whether there's a Lagos state side to it and there's a federal government side to it,
and there's also the NPA side to it.
Yes, the NPA, but the NPA is just an agency of government. They can a major one in that.
Of course.
And I think it should be a case of national emergency.
I think I'll get to talking about Nigeria more because you are very passionate about Nigeria. You've written books about Nigeria. You believe in having a better Nigeria. But then, like I always say, people of this generation don't have a clear-cut understanding of what it means to have an ideal country. We've never had it. Even when we were saying Nigeria used to be better than what it is right now, it was not a high-league nation. Never had been. Yes. So you would talk about Nigeria. I'm going to put you on the spot time and over again. You talk about Nigeria in the way you perceive Nigeria, and of course the prospects of Nigeria being a nation of we don't want to wait for year 2050 to become 14th on the best world economic map.
We don't need to wait that.
We don't. We used to have the vision 2020.
Yes.
20 years ago. And the
2020 is next year.
And that's 6 months away.
Yeah.
So 2050 is just a blink of an eye. So you get that news. I didn't promise the congestion of Oshodi-Apapa Expressway in 60 days, says Sanwo-Olu. Yes, that's on page 47 of the Vanguard. Just let us go straight down to page 8. Again, it's ministerial list. Buhari doesn't need to consult us, APC governors. Is this true?
We all know that they consult. They've been consulting since immediately after the elections. Even before then, we've been on consulting. Yeah. So we know. Maybe they say it doesn't need to, but we know they always consult.
Okay, I'm glad. So now the president should just hold them up to this if they won't come again in a couple of days to say.
Maybe it's not consulting all the governors, but obviously there are major stakeholders that he has to consult.
Yeah. Yesterday it was in the news that the governorship aspirants that lost in some states are really in the front burner. No, they are in the front burner in lobbying for a position in federal government. Yes. So talking about consultation and governance. So that is what it is on page 8 of the Vanguard, you can get that ministerial list. Buhari doesn't need to consult us, APC governors. Interesting. I like this, really. Giving the president all the free hand he needs to do what he has to do rightly, so that he won't come tomorrow to say that it was.
Are you sure it's also not a disclaimer?
Well, just maybe, we don't know. But you can just get the news and see Nigeria has greater causes of violence than Boko Haram. United Nations, page 5. Do you understand this headline?
Yes.
That we shouldn't act like Boko Haram is the problem of Nigeria. There are more greater issues that are worse than what Boko Haram is inflicting on us as a nation.
Yes.
This is coming from the United Nations.
Again. So we had the EU.
Yes.
Somebody in the EU. We had a body from the US.
And now the United Nations, which is the father of
everybody.
Yeah. So this is really, really worrisome.
I was listening to the president's partly on is it Democracy Day we call it now, 12th of June, and he was talking about that would deal with insurgency and all that, and I'm like, okay, probably. And maybe we've gone beyond insurgency now. When you talk about insurgency, most likely it's about the Boko Haram thing. But we have these pockets of violence emerging everywhere. The rate of kidnapping, the herdsmen issue, and all those local things coming up. And before the Boko Haram issue was in a region, just locked up in a region. But now they kidnap. In fact, someone was talking to me last week, and he said to me, if you pass, I want to call it this, if you pass a certain road at a certain time, it's almost guaranteed that you'll be kidnapped.
Wow.
And that's closer home now. That's closer home. I read in the news last week about a lady who was beheaded in a state. And so it's not Boko Haram and the bombing again and all that. These things are getting closer. So we need a more holistic approach. The approach to Boko Haram is not going to be the approach to kidnap. It's not going to be an approach to is it banditry or the herdsmen issue or the local militia and all that. So so that's why I agree with this story, that the ones that are closer home. So that sense of insecurity is, so we in our head we could excuse Boko Haram in the sense that it's there, it's up there. But now right around us, the other things that we can be, and the feeling is the same. We are just not settled. Is a terrorizing feeling, no matter what it is.
Yes, it is really. And still talking about insecurity, in that place, we have on page 10 of the Vanguard, it says terror attacks. UK government warns Britons against traveling to 24 states in Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
Yes, 24 out of 36.
The federal capital.
Federal capital. So 24 states, according to the UK, are not safe to go. I think I would want to take them, see, and you can just check that up on page 10 of the Vanguard. And I don't even want to mention this. I actually wanted to mention the states before, but now I think I'm changing my mind because we have suspects already.
You can mention it because it's already there. It's out in public.
It's out in public. Okay. The states include Katsina, that is the home state of the president. We have Borno, which has always been a very red, zone. Then we have Yobe, Adamawa. Adamawa is also the state of the PDP presidential candidate. So the president and the main opposition party are living in the states, according to the UK, that people shouldn't visit. Okay. Then we have Gombe, Delta, Bayelsa, the oil-rich region, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River states. That's about the oil-producing region of the economic center. This is a very funny list, okay? And we have Niger, Zamfara, Kano, Kaduna, Jigawa, Bauchi, Kogi, Abia, Kebbi, Sokoto, among others. I was actually waiting to see a southwest state.
I was listening for that.
Yes, but that is not to say that there are no challenges in the south. But then again, looking at the states that we mentioned, it is really becoming. It's like they are cutting a zone or two zones out of more than two zones actually.
It represents about, out of the 6 geopolitical zones, there seems about 4 of them.
4 of them. Yeah. Okay, so is it that bad right now?
As we were reading it, I was just trying to think in my head what could be the problems in these areas. So, Northeast, you could look at Boko Haram, maybe northwest and all that. There's the herdsmen and the villagers. Down somewhere in the east, there's the kidnapping, and there's the south, and and all that. There's also the political skirmishes that we'll see, and they are there.
Okay, we don't even have to go to the UK. I told you I'm making talk about Nigeria even more often. So, which of these states would you travel to if you have to? Would you go to Zamfara?
Interesting. I've never been to Zamfara before, but if I have to,
can't you just go see the other part of Nigeria? Because Zamfara has gold.
I've got. I'm not a good.
No, you just want to explore and then see what the
truth is like
the
is that sometimes when you hear this news from the foreign perspective, sometimes and in fairness, they dramatize these things.
Okay.
They dramatize these things. Sometimes they're not as bad. There are issues there, no doubt. There are issues there, but sometimes they are not as bad. And I'm not saying they are not bad. So you'll be shocked that sometimes you could go to Maiduguri now, and in your head there's no building standing in Maiduguri. Boko Haram has leveled everywhere, and you go there and you find out that there's normal business activities going on.
True.
And not to say that you don't have these skirmishes from time to time. Also, you have those things in the West and different places. But the truth is this: they've given us a caution. So my advice would be careful. Don't throw caution to the wind. Be careful. And whether they told us or not, these things are there. Even in the southwest, that just if they mention it or not, there are people that have been kidnapped. There are things that happen in the southwest and all that.
I'm sure the security agency will take interest in this and react to this. And I totally agree with you because then again I began to reason what's happening at Akwa Ibom. I can just go by road to Akwa Ibom and return. Everything is. But then again, it's caution, and we really have to.
And the truth, the summary for me is this: whether there are 12 states or anything, the whole country can do better security-wise.
Yeah,
true. Do better.
True. Okay, that's an agenda. This is also an agenda-setting program for the federal government and also all the state governments. Importantly, so insecurity is something nobody wants to toy with. If there is just yesterday, Nigeria was ranked 16th from behind of the most insecure nation in the world. We're talking about peace, and some of the things, the parameters they used in passing that journey was strictly on security, conflict with other nations, conflict within, and all those things. So it rubbed on our face, and 16 from behind.
It's not very good.
That's not very good. Okay, so I think all points towards the same direction. Okay, and still on the page, on the front page of Vanguard, we have Kano Emirates crisis, discussions ongoing for resolution. It's good to hear peace coming on.
Well, I hope it's not fragile.
Well, we don't know.
Now, it's part of the insecurity issues, because when the state governments and other local leaders are not working together, then the people that don't have such good intentions can take advantage of that weakness in their relationship. So it's also a security issue.
So is a gorilla going away with 6.8 million? Is that also insecurity?
Somehow.
Okay, because the rider on that place says no gorilla in Kano. No gorilla in Kano.
Are there gorillas in Kano?
Are there gorillas in Nigeria?
Oh, sure, there are gorillas in Nigeria.
So why can't they not be in Kano?
Maybe the area, maybe it's not where
they have this.
And sometimes gorillas look like human beings somehow.
Okay, away from that Kano Emirate crisis, I know a lot of people are waiting to see peace in that region, and hopefully peace will return. Yes. E-Daily, page 11 of the Vanguard, Tiwa Savage to debtors firms. Pay me or I will expose you. What? Tiwa Savage? Yeah. Everybody is owing somebody something. Maybe not money.
Yeah.
I know the federal government will look away from this because
it's not really
of course, plus talking about he without sin should cast the first stone. Federal government, a lot of debt on their neck right now. So Tiwa Savage should just say it. If she wants to mention, let her just mention. They'll find a way around it. Okay, and also in sports, page 54, we have Okagbare wins 100-meter race at Rabat Diamond League. Okay, Rabat, I think that's Morocco. Okay, so that's sports, good for Okagbare, still doing her thing the way she knows how to do it best. And we have interesting columnists. Do you know Mr. and Mrs. on Vanguard front page?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, I have done my best. I can't go bankrupt because I want to satisfy my wife. marriage is not about money. That is Mr. saying as innocent as possible.
So let's hear what Mrs. said.
Mrs. says that's where you are wrong. The first letter in marriage is M, which
For
is
money.
And that's not true. It says the M in marriage stands for manage. Okay, so you see, it's very interesting issues that is trivialized,
Yeah.
you know, but can really be taken seriously. Would there be marriage without money? Maybe, maybe not. But then again, would there be manage within marriage? Maybe, maybe not too.
The interesting thing about marriage that I just like it because it shows the beauty of marriage.
Yeah,
Different people fighting for the same thing from different perspectives.
different perspectives.
So they're actually fighting for the same thing. The woman is saying, listen, we need more income coming into this house. But the man said, probably, but now we need to manage what we have. If not, there'll be nobody around.
Yes,
So,
a beautiful one there from Mr. and Mrs. And that's how it is every morning. Then we have columnist Prince Will, Fashion, and Dear Bumit. And of course, we have the voice of the Southeast all on the front page. And inside today's Vanguard, it's a total package. You can get them. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. And yes, I have an author, a speaker. You don't want to mention it. He's a speaker, he's a coach also. It's Niyi Adekunle. So good to have you here.
thank you.
So very quickly, let us rush to what we have on other newspaper. We have UK warns against travel to 21 states in Nigeria. And we have the riders. Panic grips club members at Taraba State Balls. Armed men stopped, searched our vehicle for ethnic group. The 13 allegedly killed in fresh attacks on 2 councils. We've stopped plans for participant safety, says NYSC. We've stopped plans, so that means that people may not be getting posted to, those boiling regions, just like we have on the front page. Don't be too close to government. Kuka tells re-elected CAN presidents. Don't be too close to the re-elected CAN president. Talking about Ayokunle. Pastor Ayokunle. That means he's going on against
Church and states.
Church and states and politics. Can we? Is it church and politics? Do they go on the same sentence?
I have a simple idea. Anytime you have two people together, there's always politics. So there's some form of politics in church. You just need to do it and do it right.
Yeah, you just need to handle it. Okay. And then we have panic on Lagos Ibadan Expressway as fence excavators ruptures gas pipeline. Why? Okay. Let us move away from the Guardian to the Nation. Buhari only meet on Lekki Badagry reports others. Good meeting. That is long. That should just happen. I wouldn't say long overdue. They just got into power, so that is a good step. Then Ganduje effort to resolve crisis with Kano Emir Sanusi. Good one. Then security chiefs may go as governors seek new ideas. Security chief may go as governors seek new ideas. Next meets tomorrow. That is today.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's we are going to really be expecting what comes out from that news from the ex-minister's son kidnapped. Wow, that's not too good, bro. Maybe you should just get a copy and read for yourself. Ex-minister's son kidnapped. Insecurity everywhere, and it is getting to the corridors of power.
Yeah.
And sometime last week also, the Ondo State governor also escaped being kidnapped by a whisker.
Yeah, they had killed the daughter of the deputy governor of the state.
Yeah.
Kidnapped and killed.
So it's okay. Straight away from that to this day, officers, men at the front lines not sufficiently committed, says Buhari. Wow. Officers, men at the front lines not sufficiently committed, says Boratai. Sorry, Boratai, not Buhari. That's Chief of Army Staff, Boratai. Okay, that's it's unfortunate. But let's just take a quote from there. It says, "It is unfortunate, but the truth is that almost every setback the Nigerian Army has had in our operations in recent times can be traced to insufficient willingness to perform assigned tasks or simply insufficient commitment to a common national military cause by those at the front liners." I think we really have to engage a security expert here on this issue, because there are many things that would make, if I'm giving my line for a country, there are many other things I should be hoping to get in return. Good package, right mentality to fight with. First, the armies and these officers we're talking about, are they in the right frame of mind to fight a war for a nation as Nigeria?
Yeah.
You know, it is a big question, but it looks like the chief of staff is not pleased, and I'm sure the officers
so
will
many
also
people are not pleased.
So many people are not pleased. The officers won't be pleased also with this statement.
Yeah.
Okay, that is what it is on that page, and we move away from that to the Punch. We have soldiers inadequate commitment affecting insurgency war. That is the same story in another way.
And it's a major headline.
It's a major headline. So Boko Haram attacks 4 military bases in 1 week. Okay, that is it. Say why we can't disclose assets declared by president governors. CCB is talking. Once upon a time, I used to think that on requests, you may want to mention it. So, why was the asset of the president declared in 2015? And we knew he had 100 and something cows. That was asset declaration.
And he's not declaring now.
He's not declaring now, the vice president. Because I remember some people came and said that even some musicians were richer than the vice president. So that was because an asset was declared. So why can't they now disclose asset anymore?
I think number one, they found out that it's not mandatory, and I think I read somewhere the vice president saying that they are poorer now than when they came in.
Yeah, they always say that. They always say that. Okay, and okay. So away from that, Sanwo-Olu makes a U-turn on clearing Apapa gridlock in 60 days. Still talking about the Oshodi Apapa Expressway. Okay, that is all we'll take on today in the news, and you know how we do it here. We go straight to the social media to see what people are saying. Do you monitor discussions on social media?
It's very, very interesting. You see perspectives that you didn't even think about. So
yeah, and people saying a lot of funny things, deep things sometimes too. And do you go to the social media? Or do you?
I do.
You use it as a tool for what?
So many things. Sensing opinions, seeing different perspectives. If you have a country like Nigeria with all the different groups and all that, it's just good that whatever ideas you're trying to put out or think about, you want to see how it sits with the different.
So what's your favorite social media platform?
My favorite, Twitter.
Oh, why?
For me, it doesn't allow you to talk too much, one. So if you want to think very well, someone just goes there, just go to somebody, just talk, and that's okay. But I think now there was a time Twitter was 140 characters. They've expanded it now, so you have to really think before you write rubbish. It's totally you don't have anything.
Plus, you can't edit on Twitter, so if you make a mistake, so that you delete it or you just.
So I just but the others all have their different. I guess they have the different things they do.
Yeah, they do. Talking about the trends on Twitter, we have Akwa Ibom Twitter, suicide no be solution, wisdom, Wednesday wisdom, yeah. PwC Experience Center, World Sickle Cell Day. Oh, World Sickle Cell Day. Then Adele, Apapa, Wizkid, Argo Aspas, then Buratai. Fashola is also in the trend, the NCAA. Almost interestingly, Nigerians are all talking about what is going on in the news. This is interesting, and I think I like this trend today. Okay, we'll select some, and we just pick. But first, let's do Wednesday Wisdom. We have Wednesday Wisdom, Wednesday Thoughts, Wednesday Motivation. Give us a motivational quote. Just give us Wednesday. Just give a
off my head like that.
Yeah, just one of those things you like to say.
Well, everybody has opinions. Only a few have convictions, and nobody can build anything on convictions. We build on opinions. Nobody can build anything on opinions. We build on convictions.
So it means that only a few would eventually be taken seriously.
That's the way the world is. If we look at let's go back to what the chief of army staff said. The reasons why they are not going there is because if they are not going at all, because they don't have a conviction that they have to give their life for their country. So
we are getting to a days where everybody wants to say is my opinion is my opinion. So now I think you should start stepping up from having an opinion to having a real conviction. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. That's I'll take that home. Yeah. Okay. So when is the wisdom? We have fantasy football or says don't overthink. Simple and short. When is the wisdom? I do fantasy football, and this is really interesting for me to see a quote coming from fantasy football. And it says don't overthink, and I'm really smiling because you have a whole bunch of players in their hundreds and you have to select a team. Don't overthink. Just select what you want to select and then get out. Don't. I think this
analysis paralysis.
Yes, just leave that, and eventually you may still not be right. So
you learn your lessons.
You learn your lessons. Okay. Don't overthink. Good one there. It said, what role does technology and in particular biometric identity documents have to play in tackling the problems of statelessness and citizens without identity documents? That is CCD West Africa asking. And then, okay. Let's see if we can take one more there. Okay, I think lots of outsiders are in on this one. Okay, of course there has to be one I take care from Nigeria. The boss says, don't be the reason why someone have to be in a sad mood. Always spread love. Yeah, don't let them say it is because of you. That's also person did so thing. Then let's say suicide no be solution. It is becoming it's
sad.
Closer.
Sad. Almost like a culture in Nigeria.
But with this, we were not this in a couple of years back.
Yeah, a lot of factors driving.
Okay, Ajayi Olalekan says, it's another beautiful morning. Can you just say bye bye, Shay? Yeah, suicide no be solution. Okay. For content on the blogs. Okay, the media career is saying trending hashtag journalists should note for content on their blogs. Okay, calling attention of journalists. Let's mention that. Good one. So street_OT says, so I will now come and go and kill myself and then miss this life. And then it has a beautiful picture of Ewa going, bread and soft drink.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you want to trade this for the pains? Let's even talk about the last pains you feel before you go and face whatever comes after suicide. You want to you want to poison yourself with something, then you start feeling very uncomfortable for it. And some people are so strong that can linger for a very long time.
Yeah.
Very torturous situation. I don't think
the challenge with suicide, and it's unfortunate, is that it just begins to knock off your senses gradually, and you get there, the only thing you can see is just, and you see it as escape. So you say whatever the pain is, it's the last pain I feel, and it's a bad experience. For those experiencing that, for those who have known them, because at that time you're not thinking anything is working.
Have you ever thought of suicide before?
Never.
You've not been that unlucky. Okay.
Suicide no be solution.
No be solution. Okay. We had a show here on our health segment, Goodly Well. Goodly Health Weekly on Wednesday. Okay, I think that's about the next thing we have today. And interestingly, we brought experts here to talk about suicide and depression and everything. And one of those consultants mentioned that the truth is, even at the point of that action, that nobody wants to commit suicide. They just always still think that something will happen, something like, and that is why people have now been advocating for listening more to people. You just don't know what you might do for them. You might just be that person that gives a lasting solution, And I believe so. Isa says suicide is not an option; it's just an easy way out. Look for something that will bring out that spark of your life in you, because life has so much to offer. Look to add to it instead of removing from it. Suicide no be solution. Interesting. When my shoulders feel so heavy and the room suffocating and like nothing is going to work, I think to myself of everything I would miss out on if I died. The food, smiling with family, places I'm there to see, and I definitely can't stop wishing. You should just have something. We really, honestly, we can imagine and feel the pains of those that have to take this very thin and boring road. But then again, we just hope that something's keep telling them that you can also, if you can't live for anybody, just live for yourself.
Nothing is going, because when you read the fact that I'll miss the food, I'll miss this, but some people, it's not happening. There's no food, there's nothing in their head. They have become so lonely that they say that, listen, even if I leave the world, nobody will notice, or nobody cares and all that. And it's not something you come to in one day. It's a build up. And that's why we need one another. No matter how strong anybody feels he or she is, there are those times that life hits you at a place that you're not expecting.
Yeah.
And if you don't have someone to help you gain perspective, and that's why you see suicide is not something about the rage, it's not a class thing. Visits, everybody has to deal with at some point in time. So if you don't have the right association to help you navigate through those seasons of your life, for some people it's just the only option, the only sensible option.
Okay, let's move away from suicide and the solution to apapa, my favorite word.
Again.
A very long time until we have solutions. Then on Twitter you can see a picture of what the road looks like. Talking about that, and yes, I take something from Vanguard. Why not? It's like I didn't promise the congestion of Oshodi Apapa Expressway in 60 days. Says Sanwo-Olu. Yes, and there are comments there. You know, there's another one from Sarah Reporters also making the same thing. Then a lot of Vanguard tweets, bad roads responsible for Apapa gridlock. That's what the tax team says. Then candidate Finger NG says, Governor and at Jide Sanwo-Olu, you said all this during your debates and the gridlock of Apapa was mentioned. You actually give a timeline. What do you have to say to this, sir? And he had to play, you know, voice of what the president said then. And Apapa gridlock stakeholders faults NPA presidential committee from Vanguard. Let me just try and look away from Vanguard and see what other people are saying there. Daniel says, if gold rust in Apapa, what will iron do? If gold rust in Apapa, what will iron do? Apapa Lagos traffic, I'm talking about the governor again. Yes? You know, and you know, everybody seems to be talking about what the governor actually said. That is the basic trend. You know, the governor will really have to come and clear this, you know.
I think when I heard it, whether it was true or not, somehow I didn't think it would happen in 60 days.
Why did you think it was not going to happen in 60 days?
Because if you've gone by that road and knowing the time that he's coming in the thick of rainy season, it's just not going to work. There are a lot of things they had to deal with. It's not the only thing he will sit down with and everything. So my only encouragement will be this: if you don't do it in 60 days, just please do it. And do it as soon as possible.
Okay, someone here, chief of staff, is saying we all make mistakes, so only should talk less and work. Fashola left the legacy in Lagos without noise. Okay, we said we all making mistakes, so you might have said it unconsciously, one way or the other. We don't know. Mike says I don't live in Lagos State, so I don't know how Fashola fared as governor during his 80th tenure. But you see, this Ministry of Power that has given to him, he performed poorly. I hope not to see him there again. Okay, another saying unbelievable in 3 days with NEPA lights, as it is not the NEPA we knew. Or is it not Fashola with the Minister of Electricity in Nigeria again? Wow. So when you have light for 3 days, you have to.
That's to show you.
You have to own up and call them that, please.
To show you how damaged we are in Nigeria. That when we are not used to good things.
You know, the other time I mentioned that we've not had, some persons have not had, or a good taste of what it means to have an ideal nation.
True.
You know, so these are some of the things you see that make you say that if I had to go and ask this person that what does it mean to you to have a good nation, a better Nigeria? Some of the things you would say is, or you hear people say is that if I can just get electricity for 6 hours in a day, I think I'll be fine. If I can just get it for 12 hours, I think I'll be fine. But in an ideal state, you would want to say, I must have it 25 out of 24 hours every day.
There are countries that have had undirect power supply over the last 100 years.
Yes, and you know, they are still breathing fine.
Yeah.
Okay, that we are going to take. Let's see if we can take some comments from some of the people we have here. We have the top fan talking salt. He says, I would like to visit your news review office. Okay, you're welcome. Let's make that happen. If you're ready, let's see if the location is favorable. We can just have you something coming to talk about state of the nation, just like we do. Then we have Obioma Ukagu say, okay, noted, to share with friends. Okay, thank you. You can share the news. Then Adekunle Gideon is saying, please, Alakija and Badagry Road should be looked into. Yes, you know,
another road that I traveled on sometime last year.
And what does it feel like?
My wife was there the last weekend, just Saturday. She left home 7 a.m. She got back almost 8 p.m. in the evening. And one of my options was to go by boats across and all that. The roads are really bad, really, really bad.
In that period of time, you would have gone to maybe London and settled down.
Yes. Even though she had an event, but she had to leave early, but the road was still.
It's we were advocating also every morning on the show. We I told you it is an agenda setting program, so we talk a lot about things that we want to help the government do, because
incidentally, I heard the governor has been on that road too.
Yes.
So I don't know when he said, how long he said it would take to fix that one, but I know they said he's been on that road too.
He probably didn't give any time to fix anything right now. But he has 4 years, and I think very, very, the government actually started on a good note.
Again, the similarity between that road and the Apapa road, I think there's a collaboration with the government.
It's a federal road.
Yeah, so it just has to be top on the mind of these people. And you see, that road leads to the West Coast of Africa. It's a major gateway. So it's also an income generating axis of the country. And if we really want to do anything about our economy in this country, these are things we need to really look at as matters of urgency.
Yeah, indeed, really. And the governor said that point my attention to potholes and all those things, we'll start fixing them. And yes, we had on this show a video of just exiting Anthony Village, the huge pothole on that road, and it has been fixed. Okay, we really need to go and complete that project. I think later in the day, Bankole and I will just have to go to that place and show them that we were here when the road, so we just don't want to
we can go around other places.
Yes, we will go around other places, and we just want to help the government.
And sometimes
on some of these places.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. So we have been having a very wonderful time today on Vanguard Live, today in the news, talking about all the exciting news on the social media and the newspapers, and that is how we do every morning. I've been speaking with Mr. Niyi Adekunle, he's a writer, he's a public speaker, and of course, he's going to be our guest someday on Correspondent File, where he's going to really talk about what he does, and that day he's going to talk about Nigeria too. Okay, my name is Victor Ogunyinka, and I've been doing this with Bankole Idowu. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for other programs coming your way.